Being here this evening. I know that it's one of the last warm weekends that you have left and you choose to spend it outside as opposed to inside. Before it gets too cold, I'm definitely going to leave and go back to hot and sweaty Chennai. I was very lucky to have been part of the bike rally for the first week or so, the Karnataka part of the rally, and I don't know how to ride a bike yet. But I did have the best rider in front of me, so I was the most comfortable pillion, I think it's safe to say. Why Kaveri Calling? It is a many-fold project. It handles various aspects of a very dire situation that we are facing today. Everybody's heard of the Chennai floods, and then the Chennai droughts, and now the Bangalore droughts. And we like to think of floods and droughts as being separate problems. The thing is that in India, our main source of water, is the monsoon rain. So we like to think that the monsoons are depleting every year. It is not so. If you take it decade by decade, we have about the same amount of water every decade that we receive from rainfall. The issue that we're having mainly is that the earth does not absorb the water and hold it in for the next 365 days before the next monsoon and slowly release it back into the river. Instead, what happens is what we see all the time in the news is that the rain comes in and it floods, the rivers are overflowing, lots of homes and villages, we see the situation that they're in. But within 3 months, all of that water that we receive as rainfall is completely gone, and because of this, the exact same places face droughts. The idea of Kaveri Calling also is to handle farmers' economic distress. Over 300,000 farmers have committed suicide in India over the last 15 to 20 years. What it takes for a person who has the knowledge and the capability to actually grow food, at least enough to feed his family, to push himself to the extent where he feels that the only way out is to take his life, is an unbearable amount of human suffering. The testimonials may not have been in the 2 videos we showed you today, but if you look it up online, there are many testimonials of the kind of distress that farmers go through, as well as the families that they leave behind once they take a decision to take their lives. The main problem is that we have very successfully, in the last 2 generations, managed to destroy agricultural land which has been agricultural for over 5,000 to 8,000 years. The way we have done this is, of course, because every time we take 1 ton of food out of the land, we don't put any organic content back into the soil. So the soil gets drier and drier, there's less and less organic content. About 42% of Tamil Nadu's agricultural land has been declared as fallow. What this means is that in the next 10 to 15 years, we will have a desert. I don't know how many of you are from South India, but have you ever seen or heard of a desert in South India? But we're going there at a very fast pace. What shifting to agroforestry will do is, 1, ensure that the root systems that are created by the trees will absorb the water and ensure that the water is held in the land. What it will also do is, and this is a proven economic model, it will increase the farmer's income from anywhere from 300 to 800%, depending on the kind of trees he wants to grow. Over 69,700 farmers have already shifted to agroforestry in the Coimbatore area, and it took us almost 18 to 20 years to get them to this point, because we had to convince them one by one as an individual foundation. We were a very small foundation when we started, and we had to go farmer by farmer talking to them about the advantages of it. So now that they have shifted, this summer itself, the farmers who had shifted to agroforestry did not have much of a water problem in their lands, but the farmers next to them had a lot of issue growing crops. So if there is no organic content in the soil, the crop that you get every year, 1, in terms of nutrition value, goes down significantly. But more importantly, after 3 or 4 crops, there is not enough organic content for the plant to even grow. So as much as farmers have loan distress, more importantly, they are physically not able to grow anything from the land because the land has nothing to give anymore. So organic waste animal waste as well as leaves that fall from the tree will go back into the soil and ensure that the soil is nourished. The other issue, I don't know how many of you have seen the Kaveri recently, the water is depleting, but every monsoon it floods and the water that flows in the Kaveri is very brown. The reason it's brown is because all the topsoil gets taken away by the river during the monsoons and it's flowing down. Anybody will tell you, my grandfather will tell you, he's never seen Kaveri brown. It's always been clear, sweet water. And again, the root systems of the tree will ensure that soil is maintained in the place that it has to be maintained, so that the water that percolates through the earth and comes out is of a much cleaner content. So, what are all the different things that we are doing? We are ensuring that the farmers are educated on why they should shift to agroforestry. The way we are doing this is about 300 volunteers have given up very lucrative jobs, some of them from the financial services, engineering backgrounds. They are all young people under the age of 35 who have given up 3 years of their lives. I say given up because that is the perception, but I think they're donating 3 years of their lives. They're going farm by farm, talking and educating everybody as to why they have to shift to agroforestry and what are the different ways in which they can shift to agroforestry. The laws in India up until very recently, unfortunately, were not very farmer friendly, in the sense that if a farmer grows a tree in his land and he cuts it down, he's not allowed to transport it, which means he can never use it for his own financial gain. This law has now been changed. The Forest Department has come with the government and agreed to change this. About 18 species of trees has been released by the governments in the center as well as the 2 states. And what this means is of those 18 species, the farmer can grow it and use it in whichever way he sees fit. We are pushing the governments, we are putting a little bit of pressure on the governments to ensure that whatever the farmer grows on his land, which is essentially private land, belongs to him. If he manages to grow gold on the tree, it belongs to him. So the idea is to also make a farmer feel a little bit more ownership over his land, because as much as they feel that it is theirs, a lot of them are willing to sell their land and just sit and do other jobs like daily wage jobs and things like that, because they're not able to grow anything from the land. So the farmers that have already shifted in the Coimbatore area, their incomes after the first 5 years have gone up anywhere from 300 to 800%. What the farmers are doing right now, some who have already shifted to agroforestry, not as part of Kaveri Calling, but by their own initiative, their incomes have also gone up from 500% upwards. So what kind of tree a farmer should grow, whether he wants to go into horticulture, whether he wants to go into timber, all of these are completely up to him. We will suggest that certain plants are better for the area that his farm is in, because the Kaveri Basin is about 84,000 square kilometers. And so we will suggest that in this area this will grow best and in that area something else will grow better. But essentially it is private land, so it is entirely up to him what he wants to grow and how he wants to grow it. The reason we are all here, raising awareness, raising donations, is because when the farmer decides to shift to agroforestry, we need to have the capability to give him the saplings that he requires. So some saplings cost about 22 rupees. They take about a year and a half to grow. Some saplings cost upwards of 200 rupees. Some of them take much longer to grow before they're of a certain height and can be transplanted. On average, this comes up to about 42 rupees, which translates approximately to 70 cents per sapling. 70 cents per sapling, I'm fairly certain everybody in this room is capable of doing, and every tree counts. But more than just doing one sapling and forgetting about it, I want you all to think about it and see all the different ways that you can participate in Kaveri Calling. This is not limited to one organization or one person's movement. It is 100% about the economic state as well as the environmental state of the Kaveri Basin. When we approached the UN to say that it was a successful plan with close to 70,000 farmers in the Coimbatore area, The UN said that it was not a large enough case study. They agreed with the principle of it and the way it was being done, but they said it's not a large enough case study for us to then put funding into it and make it a successful project. And anybody who knows Sadhguru knows that when he dreams big, he really dreams big. So we're not doing one small area, we're going to do the entire Kaveri Basin. He has committed 12 years of his life. Those of us around him are trying to do as much as we can for this as well. The only thing I know how to do is dance, and I'm learning how to speak along the way. But at this point, I'd like to invite you all to participate in whichever way you can. We need your awareness. Of course, we need your donations. We need your hearts, your hands, your pockets. We need everything. So this money that is being donated will not go into, there are various costs to running the campaign. One, of course, is transportation of the sapling, transportation of the volunteers to ensure that the education is happening, LED screens to talk to the farmer, all of these various costs. But none of the donations that go from Kaveri Calling will go towards that. All of the donations that we receive through the website as well as today will go 100% to growing saplings. We have about 100 plus nurseries right now, which on the day of Gandhi Jayanti we have renamed as the Mahatma Gandhi Green India Mission. We are planning to grow more nurseries, close to about 300 nurseries. Government lands have been the government is also willing to grow and give us the saplings. The other way we are doing this is that the farmers themselves can grow the sapling. Once the farmer grows the sapling, we need to have the money to buy the sapling back from him. Because we are not going to say, you should grow the sapling, you should grow trees, it's very good for you, it has environmental benefits, and then leave him in the lurch. That's 100% something that we cannot do, because the economic distress, the emotional distress that he is going through, he is not concerned about the environment. It's very important to understand that Kaveri Calling is an economic plan for the farming community that has ecological benefits. So thank you all so much for being here with us this evening. I would like to invite you all to participate in whichever way you can. Every summer we all have water shortages and we all talk about what are all the different ways in which we can save water based on our usage. We bathe less, or we brush our teeth less, or we do all kinds of things. We're not saying those are not good things to do, but essentially the problem is that we don't have enough water. And this is one very simple solution to ensure that the amount of water that is available to us to use through the year is maintained in the land and used slowly throughout the year. Tamil Nadu and the Karnataka government have never agreed on anything, most definitely not the Kaveri issue. But for the first time, both the Karnataka government and the Tamil Nadu government have come together, and they have offered the subsidies that the farmer will require for the first 4 years for him to shift to agroforestry. In the first year, the farmer faces about 20% loss, the second year between 20 and 30%. By the fourth year, he faces almost 50% loss. But from the fifth year onwards, including the first 4 years, his profits go up by anywhere upwards of 300%. But the first 4 years, both governments have agreed to subsidize a lot of the costs that they will face. They are ensuring that they have the support system so that when they decide to change, everybody is there to help them make this change. We have a timber board that is being set up to ensure that the quality of timber that comes out of this project is of a certain standard. India as a country imports over 100,000 crores of raw timber and furniture. And the only reason we do this is because the forest department used to not allow us to cut trees that were growing in our own land. Now that law is going to change. So whatever is on private land, it belongs to the person who owns it. This is very important for the farmer especially, because if somebody wants to manufacture a safety pin, they can manufacture it in India and sell it in Paris for whatever price they want to sell it. But if a farmer grows rice or ragi or any other crop on his land, he is forced to sell it within a certain locality for a certain price. So we are also ensuring that the farmer has a little bit more purchasing power at this point, because the people that feed us, the hands that feed us, we have treated them badly for far too long. Only about 2% of farmers want their children to go into farming, which means in the next 2 generations, we will have nobody left to feed us. This is not something that a population of 1.4, almost 1.5 billion people can afford to do. So I'm here to break your hearts a little bit and hopefully break your pockets a little bit and invite you all to participate in Kaveri Calling in whatever way that you are able to do. It is a 12-year project for us, and so I hope you'll walk all 12 years with us. Thank you so much for being here this evening.